Every day you wake up, you make an unconscious decision about who you want to be that day. The money that you're going to make, the freedom that you're going to have in your life, the ability to give back to those who matter most, the ability to give yourself the life you want, it all comes down to small decisions that you make every single day that add up to bigger results over time. And these are going to be results that you hate, where you have no money, you have no freedom, or they're going to be results that you love, where you have everything that you want. What I'm going to teach you today is how to master yourself so that you can make small decisions that are going to lead to massive outcomes where you do have everything that you want. And I'm going to go into detail on exactly how to do this. The key is learning how to catch yourself in these different crossroads in the decision-making process and choose paths that will help you get to where you want to be, which means where you're making way more money, where you're bringing in 10, 20K per month, where you have the network that you want, where you have the dating life you want, where you have the lifestyle that you want, where you have the freedom that you want. The first thing that we're going to start with is the 100K formula, the $100,000 formula. These are 4 pieces in a process that are going to help you orient your life as someone who makes 100,000 or more, ideally more, because 100,000 really isn't that much, but someone who makes 100K or more per year, okay? And I'm going to explain to you how to do this. Now, we need to get something clear. This is not for you if you want to consistently work a 9-to-5 job. I have no problem with people working 9-to-5 jobs, but if you work a 9-to-5 job, your path is somewhat fixed. If you consistently work a 9-to-5, the way you play that game is you work as your boss tells you to, and then at a certain point you get a raise, you get a promotion, and you have a better opportunity because of the position that you're in. You get an increased raise, you work the corporate ladder, and then eventually you're making 10K per month, hopefully. For some people, it takes longer. Some people, they can do it faster depending on the industry. But this message is not for you if that's the end goal and that's the dream. But if you want to have freedom, and I'm talking about live anywhere you want, be able to create your own path in life, be in control of how you make your money, and be in control of your skill set and of your development as an individual, as a man, this is for you, okay? So the first thing is the 100K formula. The 100K formula is essentially 4 parts of a process that are going to help set you up to be making 10K plus per month. Number 1, the first thing you need is a skill set that directly leads to value production for other people. Now, this skill set can be something that either saves other people time or saves them money. One of those 2 things. So first you need a skill set, and you need to make sure that skill set is going to save other people time and money. This is why I believe that the best skill set to learn is sales, where you're in the sales space and you're selling high-priced items, whether it's services, coaching, consulting, or physical items, selling cars, selling jewelry, selling jets, whatever you want to sell. I believe that sales is the best skill set for many young men to have because it puts you right next to the money and you are solving the most important problem for a business owner, which is time and money. That's what sales does. But what you want to do in the 100K formula, the way you're going to get to 100K, the way I got to it is you want to distribute that skill set through knowledge or through actions. And there's 2 ways you can do this, knowledge or actions. So you have the base skill set. Let's say that it's sales. How do you distribute the skill set? You distribute it through actions or knowledge or both. Actions would be you closing for somebody, as I do. You work with a company and you handle part of their sales process. You talk to prospects that are coming in and you close the deal for 10K, 20K, and you get paid a percentage of all the deals that you close. And if you're really good, and if the company has a lot of trust in you and you're very important to them, sometimes they'll even pay you a retainer. They'll pay you a base fee just to be on the team or just to do follow-up with prospects, maintain good relationships, okay? So you want to distribute your skill set through knowledge or actions. An example of knowledge would be making a digital course or building some kind of community around your skill set, all right? You build a community and you put this knowledge out into the internet, you put this knowledge out into the world, and you charge people for it. You charge people for the knowledge. Or at a certain point, you give it away for free, and then you charge for the knowledge. Maybe you coach people, maybe you train other people, and you help people who are on the same journey as you get back their time or make more money, okay? And you don't have to do this only with sales. I know people who are dating coaches. I know people who are fitness coaches. But the 100K formula is, number 1, you have to develop a skill set. That's the most important thing. You must develop a skill set and you must become very good at your skill set, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Secondly, you need to find a way for this skill set to save other people either time or money or both. Ideally, both, of course. And that's what sales does so perfectly. But there's other skill sets that can save people time, other skill sets that can save people money or help them make more money. Then distribute your skill set through knowledge or actions. This means either by sharing the knowledge with other people and they will invest in you for the knowledge you have, like a consulting practice or an agency, or through actions, which is taking this knowledge and the information you have and actually leveraging it and activating the knowledge in a business for someone else and having them invest in you for your time and for your expertise. The fourth part of the 100K formula is to scale the distribution process. So once you start, and this takes a little bit of time, especially if you're new to the game, but once you start getting good, then you want to scale the process. You want to scale it, which means charging way more for your time, right? Where you have, so you're so much more valuable because your time is more valuable because your skill set is very developed and you can get results for people relatively quickly. So you start to charge more, or if it's knowledge and not just actions, where you're coaching or consulting, but if it's really knowledge and you have some kind of product, you have some kind of community, you can scale your knowledge by offering it to more people, and you build a community, you build a brand, you start making videos on YouTube, as I do with my knowledge. That's scaling your knowledge, okay? That's the 100K formula. If you do these four things correctly, you are going to make 100K plus every year. This is not a question. This is fact. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. If you can build your skill set to an expert level, if you can save other people time and or money, which is huge, and if you can distribute the skill set through knowledge or actions, which means you have an agency of some sort, or you are providing a direct service for a company, or you are coaching or training others, you have a course, something like that, and then you scale that through making content and reaching more people, or you scale it because you get paid way more because your skill set is very good, you are going to be earning 100K. Now, the question is, how do you actually become successful and how do you do this? Because there's a lot of people who work on their skill set to some extent and they try and they don't make 100K. They don't make six figures. They stay in the same place. In fact, I know a lot of people like this in the sales space. There's peers that I have in sales, guys that I know, guys I've trained with who are actually quite talented, but because of certain mindset blocks and limiting beliefs, they stick at $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 a month, which is not ideal and not effective. It's not going to help you get the freedom that you want where you can really give back to your family. You need to be making minimum 10K a month. Like, that's just the reality. That's the facts. And even 10K is not a lot of money. You'll understand that once you're making 10K and you want to invest more in yourself. Like, 10K is not a lot of money. It can be a lot relative to where you're at now. If you don't have that, sure, it sounds amazing. And that's the first step. But after 10K, it's hard to get to 10K. It can be difficult to start making 10K. It's a journey. But once you hit to 10K, then next is 20, 30, and then 100, right? The game becomes a little bit different. The first thing we have to do is look at something called the inner dialogue, okay? The inner dialogue is essentially, what stories are you telling yourself in your own head about who you are? The inner dialogue is the messaging and it's the content. And I'm not talking about on your phone, but it's the content that you speak to yourself with. It's what you say to yourself. Do you beat yourself up all the time? An example of inner dialogue is, let's say you have an awkward moment while you're out in a bar. You shouldn't be in bars all the time, but let's say you're out with some buddies and you have an awkward moment with a girl. An example of inner dialogue would be, do you tell yourself, oh, that was really funny, haha, that was hilarious? Or do you say, oh, I'm so stupid, I shouldn't have said something like that? That's an example of inner dialogue. Now, what I found is a lot of people's inner dialogue limits them, because I've trained clients in this. I used to be a dating coach, and I helped a lot of guys find really amazing relationships and just find a lot of freedom in how they communicated, become better leaders and things like that. I did that before I was in sales. And one of the things that I found is that a lot of men, their inner dialogue doesn't help them, and this may apply to you. Your inner dialogue, if it's not helping you, it's going to hurt you. There's no middle ground. Your inner dialogue is not just in a gray space where it doesn't affect you. It's not neutral. Your inner dialogue is either going to be helping you or hurting you. So something that helps is start self-validating. Like, I constantly think to my head, I just crushed it. I'm amazing. That was so awesome. That was great. And I'm thinking this in my head. It's not like I'm forcing it throughout the day all the time, but one of the ways you can do this is by celebrating wins. So when you have a win, when you have a success, let's say that you close a deal for a business you're working with, or let's say that you sign your first client if you're running an agency or a consulting practice. All right, you sell something really well. An example of this would be validating that win in your head. Be like, yes, I'm awesome. I'm freaking great. And go share it with someone. If there's a girl you're seeing, tell her you closed the deal and be proud of yourself, or tell your dad, tell your mom, write it inside the community that you're in. This is why a lot of communities online that are done well emphasize sharing wins so much, because the inner dialogue, you'll constantly tell yourself, I'm a winner, I'm amazing. And this is very helpful for your identity. It's very helpful for your mindset. There's this really amazing book that I've read, and some of you may have heard of it, called The Power of Now, from Eckhart Tolle. And I want you to read this book, The Power of Now, from Eckhart Tolle. Read this book. It's right up there with Psycho-Cybernetics, which, had a massive impact on my life. The Power of Now always talks about being aware of your thoughts. And this is one of the things that actually helped me move towards success more efficiently, because I was very talented. Back in 2018, 2019, I was super, super talented. I had a lot of skill and I was making good money. I was doing six figures in my business consistently. But at the same time, the way I was making that money had so much effort behind it, and I wasn't doing it the right way. All right. So it wasn't consistent. It wasn't repeatable. They weren't actions that were going to set me up for success in the future, where I could have everything I want and go travel where I want, especially if I have a family, if I have people that I care about, giving back to my own family, my things like that. I didn't have that freedom. So I started becoming aware of my thoughts because I read this book called The Power of Now. And one of the ideas in The Power of Now is that you need to become aware of your thoughts, and your thoughts can either contribute to helping you, or your thoughts can either harm you, right? Almost like you become what you think. So I started sitting and becoming present with my thoughts, and I started treating my life as a personal meditation, the actions that I would take in my life, whether it was going on dates, or whether it's making YouTube videos, or whether it's coaching a client or on a sales call, right? I began treating things as a personal meditation, and my thoughts begin to help me succeed. I also begin to find stillness in my thoughts too. That's another video for another day. We'll talk about stillness and presence, but I begin to allow my thoughts to help me win in life. And my thoughts became my greatest ally. So instead of me thinking, I need to do better, I'm not good enough, stupid me, instead of that, I begin to validate myself consistently and tell myself, oh, you're winning, you're crushing it, you're great. The other part of this, outside of the inner dialogue, is I want you to understand the idea of immersion phases, okay? And I saved this for towards the end. The reason I did is because I don't want you to start with this only. I know a lot of people who go into some immersion phase and go to some course. I'll explain what all this means. They go into some course, and then what happens is, because their mind is not right, because they're not really serving themselves in terms of how they think, they get the skill set to an extent, but they never capitalize it and maximize the skill set because they don't actually believe they're good enough. And I don't want that to happen to you. So the thing you need to be aware of with immersion phases is there's certain times you go into your life where you purely dedicate yourself to learning a skill and nothing else. And I really mean this. I'm going to make another training on this later. But when I decided to learn sales and take sales very seriously, because I had been running a business for a while and I was making consistently good money, but then something happened with my business partner and we had a falling out and we ended up not working together. And what happened was I was confronted with this decision where it's like, do I work more on the same business that I've been doing, which seems like it's plateauing now and not growing anymore, or do I pivot, leverage a skill that I'm okay at, but should I get way better at it, and leverage that skill to build something new, build something that's going to be very effective and it's going to help people, going to help me make more money, help me earn more, and build something even greater than what I had done before. So I thought about it and I decided it would be sales. So what I did was I literally took 3 months and I completely stopped going to the gym and replaced everything in my life with sales. Like literally everything in my life, just doing sales. I invested in a sales training program and I began training with those guys every single day of the week. I was doing role plays. I was going on coaching training calls. I would review my own calls and literally fill up notebooks with notes about my own calls. And I immersed myself in this for a season. I stopped going to the gym. I hated how I looked in the mirror. Trust me, I didn't like that. But my mind was sharp. I was on point because I had a very specific goal. I wouldn't say start with this if you do not know exactly where you're going with your skill set, you don't know how to create a lot of leverage with your skill set very quickly. I wouldn't say just start doing this. I would say get your mind right, invest in your body first, get all that in balance, then go into an immersion phase, okay? But this is an immersion phase. It's something that I call an isolation ritual. It's a growth-focused period where I completely dedicate myself to growing in a very specific area of competence, a specific skill set. And this could be other things. It could be different things. It doesn't need to just be sales. I've had immersion phases as an example in dating. When I was learning dating skills from one of my old mentors back in the day, I had an entire year where I literally spent time just approaching women in New York City in the day and in the evenings, like at night. And I learned so much. It was not the healthiest time for me mentally, maybe even physically, but I learned the skill. And again, I would have rather me put everything into balance in my life before doing that. But hey, you can't change the past, and I'm grateful for what I learned. I don't regret anything. So I learned this skill, and I got extremely good at connecting with women because I was constantly approaching girls and learning this skill. And then I began to be able to help other guys with it because I got so good at it. So the same thing happened with me with sales. I immersed myself in the sales skill. Now, luckily for me, I had already sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of my coaching services way before I got into sales officially because I was selling for my own business. But still, I got my skill way up, really, really good, to where I became mentally sharp, very efficient, understood how to handle objections, understood how to bring people over and build a really great sales cycle as well for the company that I started working with. And I leveled up my skill. What you want to do in an immersion phase is you want to go a grade up in your skill. So if you can imagine a scale where you have grade A, B, C, D, and like an F for failure. F is like, you're not good at this, just don't try. This is probably just not for you. If you're at an F, complete F. I'm never a fan of someone trying something that it's not even in the realm of possibility for them. And it's rare that happens, but sometimes that's the case. But let's say that you're like a C. Okay, a C in sales or a C in copywriting. You want to become a copywriter. For me, it's sales, and for the guys I teach, it's sales. So let's say that you're a C and you want to get good. During the skill acquisition phase and immersion phase, you want to go from a C to a B or a B plus, right? And if you were to immerse even longer, and I don't want to limit you, you could go even to an A or an A plus, right? There isn't a limit on where you can go, but you want to mentally realize that you level up your skill and you've leveled up from wherever you were to the next grade above. And there's different measurements, of course, and this is why it helps to have a mentor in our community that we're building. We're going to do so much mentorship, and it's very much based on a mentorship and accountability. So that's going to be great. Press subscribe if you want to know more about how we're doing that coming up. I have nothing to tell you, by the way, but if you want to learn more about what we do and keep training with me and get free value here, press the subscribe button so you can back yourself and you can make change. The other part of the immersion phase, and this is what's really interesting, and the part that I actually love the most, is saying no to distractions. When I'm in an immersion phase, and I do this even when I'm not in an immersion phase in my life, but I'm constantly saying no to people, and it hurts. It's not fun. It's not fun saying no to the parties. It's not fun saying no to going out, no to going on dates and all these things, but I'm constantly saying no to people. It's like someone invites me somewhere. Hey, I've got a party. I'm doing it at whatever club. There's going to be hot chicks there. No, can't do it, bro. I'm going to go train. And sometimes I'll be honest, like this is a thing I've never shared with anyone. I'm sharing it here on YouTube. I actually have a little folder on my phone full of screenshots of me saying no to doing fun things. It's silly, but I have a folder on my phone where it's tons of screenshots of me saying no and like canceling plans. Not plans that I already had, but not accepting plans. And I literally will look at this sometimes for motivation because I'm like, all these times where I said no has put me at the point where now I'm able to bring in a consistent 6 figures for myself, for those in my life, for those I care about, right? And it means a lot to me that the fact that I can say no to those things. You have to get used to saying no to things, no to distractions. When people want to just connect, unless they're a high value person who's on the same wavelength as you, who's pushing you to grow, who you align with in terms of vision, in terms of purpose, in terms of the way they think, you got to say no to things. You can't be saying yes to everyone. The really important part of all of this whole journey of self-mastery leading to success, leading to making money, is becoming the kind of person who attacks opportunity. Are you the kind of person who consistently attacks opportunity? And if you're not, you need to be. Attacking opportunity comes down to movement and momentum. And I do this physically in how I wake up, and how I go to the gym, and how I live my life. That's physical momentum, but also mental momentum. I'm consistently educating myself. There's a few practical ways that you can actively attack opportunity. And by attack opportunity, I mean taking life by the balls, taking life and saying, it's mine, I'm going to take it, I'm going to win. If you don't know what I mean, watch my video about competition and how to outcompete everyone else. Watch the video. It's the one right before this on my channel. But there's a couple things that you can do that I'm going to give you some examples, some practical examples of how to attack opportunity. Number one is doing follow-up. If you're a sales pro, you got to do follow-ups. I have a list of people that I have relationships with, people who haven't bought the services for the company I work with yet. They haven't bought the services. And the people I consult for as well, the companies I consult for and help them build their sales process, I help them do follow-up because it's so important. So you have to do follow-up. The people who haven't bought yet, I'm constantly hitting them up, not daily, not even weekly, but bi-weekly. I'm just like, hey, What's going on? Hope, did you get to where you wanted to be in your life? Did you get those goals that you set out for yourself a couple months ago and we talked? I'll send them over a video from the company, right? I'll send them over a PDF, or I'll send them over a quote or a meme, something to just stay in touch. So I'm doing follow-up. Another one is sending DMs. I don't do this. I'll have a setter send DMs for me. This is for a company that I'll run, and I'll have a setter DM people and reach out. If you're a setter, or if you're building an agency, or if you're a coach right now and you don't have a setter, are you doing DMs? Are you reaching out to people and having conversations? You guys DM me from this channel. You know that my DMs are open on Instagram, and I try my best to respond to everything. It's getting a bit difficult now, but I try my best to respond to everything, you know? So like, are you connecting with people in the DMs? And it doesn't mean you have to have long, drawn out conversations, but are you actually moving relationships forward and finding areas where you can attack opportunity and you can grab opportunity? That happens through action. Making content as well, religiously, 2 videos a day for me, religiously. And soon we're going to start consistently making short form content, right? This is the thing. It's that you need to constantly be in a state of looking for opportunities and moving towards them without letting any slip past you. And it doesn't mean you get distracted, because you need to have the purpose, right? And this is the other part of attacking opportunity. Have a project. Always have a project you're working on. One project. It doesn't need to be everything. You shouldn't be, working on a e-com business and then working on a copywriting business and then doing drop shipping. Like, you don't need to do all these things. You do one thing, do it really well, and don't miss opportunities within that thing, or have an A and have a B. For me, my A is my sales skill set and being a great sales consultant, right? And helping businesses make more money. And right after that, it's making content so I can connect with you guys, build a bigger audience, and eventually build all these amazing relationships and give a bunch of value and then monetize it. That's what my goal is. I'm very open about that, right? So always have a project. Your project could be training your skills. If right now you don't have a way to monetize, it's train your skills, right? If you're not making all the money you want, you need to probably get better and level the skill up, master your skill set. Number 2, working on your network. This is another example of a project. If you want to work with a great company, if you want to get clients, you have to work on your network. You have to send DMs. You have to do outreach. Number 3 could be launching a course or launching a product, working on some way to scale the value that you have, working on a way to take that knowledge you have, that knowledge base you have, and put it into practice. Or if you have an agency, making your project better, right? But you should always have a project. You always want to be attacking opportunity and moving the needle forward. I'll leave you with this. I want you to understand just how serious I am. You are in a battle with yourself. The battle to make money, the way you're competing in the world right now to make money and have everything you want and achieve your dreams, it's not easy. That's the truth. Because if it were easy, most people would do it. Most people, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen clients do this in dating, because I told you I used to do dating coaching, and I've seen this so much in dating. I've seen this in the personal development coaching I've done, and I've seen it in the sales space. People want success, but they don't put in the work for it. They don't do that, and it's not easy. And people don't understand how not easy it is. People talk and talk and talk and talk, but there's a difference between talking about this and then actually doing it. So if you want to have success, you must battle yourself. That's the hardest thing first. You have to go against you, because you're going to be confronted with paths that are going to lead you to undesired results, or results that are actually desired, where you're going to be happy with what's happening. And you have to pick the path that is going to help you succeed, pick the path that is going to help you the most. And you're constantly in a war against your own limiting beliefs and your own unconscious fears. So you're constantly being met with decisions to either succumb to these fears and to lose the battle, or to win the battle and to overcome the fears, to overcome the limiting beliefs and get what you want. This is what I call accessing your highest self. And this is what I want for you. This is what I want for all my guys, everyone who comes and trains with me, everyone that I've worked with for self-development training, for lifestyle training, for sales training, like everyone that I work with, my goal is where you can access your highest self and you can get everything you want and have the freedom you want, the way that I have and the way that I'm moving towards even more and more every day, because I'm competing against you. But I'm not starting my thinking of competing against you. I'm starting my thinking of competing against myself. And because I'm competing against myself, you can't beat me. It's impossible. The only person who can beat me is me. That's it. So if I constantly am defeating myself and picking the right path, I'm always going to be winning. So what are you competing against? Are you ready to step into the path of the person who is going to make a consistent 6 figures, leading to 7 figures, and giving yourself, your family, your girl, I don't care who it is, those who matter most to you, everything that you want? Is that a path you're willing to take? Because if it is, my friend, if that is the path, you now have a responsibility to move forward to that path, to create that path for yourself and for those who matter most to you, okay? I'll leave you with that. Be blessed. Take care. I appreciate your time. I want to see you win. I want to see you wake up and get out of the haze and begin to take action and transform your life, okay? I will see you on the next training. Be blessed. Take care.